V-mount batteries have been amazing. I have 3 of them, 2 from SmallRig, 1 from NEEWER. Now, I'm not going to talk about one brand versus the other. I'm just saying, in general, these batteries have been awesome. However, there is a challenge with these batteries, and that is, how do you mount them on your camera so they're both, 1, accessible, but 2, not really in the way? In this video, I will share with you 4 accessories that I've personally acquired for my V-mount batteries. Now, this is not a sponsored video. I have no affiliation with any of these companies. The first is from SmallRig. It's a pretty simple plate. It mounts on 15mm rods. Now, there are 1/4 and 3/8 holes if you want to mount the plate on something else, but to be completely honest, I have yet to find a use for that. It mounts easily enough to the 15mm rods of my video rigs, just like so. And I just fasten it down. Now, you'll notice that mine is vertical. If you want it to be horizontal, right, laying like this, you have to unscrew it on the bottom and then reattach it on the side. Now, to be completely honest, I find it to be a bit of a slow process, and when you're a solo content creator like me, time is very important. So I made the decision a long time ago that on these in-studio rigs, I would always use it vertically mounted, so I'm never ever having to futz with unscrewing it and rescrewing it on in different orientations. This is how I use both the plates 100% of the time. When flexibility is important, there is this mini V-mount plate from NEEWER. You see, you have the option to bend it like this. Just like with the SmallRig, this one secures onto the 15mm rods of my video rig. Now, I use this on my cinema camera rig, not on the studio rigs. So you see you have some flexibility to move the battery up and down. If I was to attach a battery now, all right, here's the battery. And if it's in the way of the screen, right, I can just shift it and I can bring the screen out like this. Pretty convenient. Now, I do have a small issue with this mount. Now, you see when I let go, all right, it falls. There is the screw here that you can tighten it down with. However, this is not a lock. I need to point that out. This will not lock the plate in place. Watch. What I'm going to do is tighten down the screw as much as possible without damaging the mounting plate. All right. Now, when it's tight as you can get it, you'll see that it will still move. All right. It's not locked in place. However, it does support the weight of the battery. You see, the battery is not falling down. Now, I know what it looks like. Right down here, there are what appears to be some Allen keys, and you would think that you could probably tighten these down to make it even stiffer. That has not worked for me, to be completely honest. This is as stiff as I can get it, but it's been enough. Okay, it's been enough. This has been holding up just fine. Next up is a very small plate from SmallRig. It has a clamp, which has been really useful for tightening around the legs of tripods. How I've been making use of this is for my time-lapse cameras for running D-tap batteries. Now, I would attach it at the neck of the tripod like so, put on the battery, and then run the battery up into the camera. This has been pretty effective. This is very compact, very lightweight, and pretty affordable. However, it does lack some flexibility in certain areas, which I'll show you now. Now, this does not have the ability to just arbitrarily rotate. If you want to rotate 90 degrees, you have to loosen up these screws and then rotate the clamp and reattach it. Also, I should point out that you don't want to make the clamp here completely flush with the plate. You see that there's this gap right here? You see that? See how it's offset? That is for a very, very good reason. Okay, when I first got this, the mistake I made was I made the clamp completely flush with the plate. The problem was when I went to open it up, all right, let me get this where you can see it. All right, let me get it open. You see what's happening right here? All right, it's coming down past the plate. So when I had it completely flush on the plate, I couldn't open it up enough to get around my tripod legs. Where I think this could have been a bit more useful, if it had some sort of ball adjustment on here so you could rotate it around a little more freely without having to unscrew it, especially out in the field. I mean, even something like kind of like this clamp, which I use these things heavily, this is great, right? You can move it, the accessory, to wherever you need it to be. This is, the way it is very stiff and unforgiving. I've made it work, but I think they could have taken this product a little bit farther and done a little more with it as far as the design. Now, this past weekend, I started working with this V-mount adapter. This thing is awesome. It's designed completely different from the other ones. Check it out. So at the top is Arca Swiss plate. It comes with this little itsy bitsy tiny cute adorable plate. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I didn't actually use it. I already have plenty of these. So this is Arca Swiss. The bottom is Arca Swiss. Has 3 1/4-inch adapters and 1 3/8 inch adapter, which is awesome. You open up this lever right here and you can expand that out. Pretty sweet. Okay. Now, if you want to tighten up the tension when it's bending, you use these right here. Now, just like with the other one I showed earlier from NEEWER, these won't lock it. It just adjusts the tension. So right now it's pretty loose. All right. Give that a good wrenching, like so. It will still bend from the pressure of my hand, but it will hold the battery. Here, let me demonstrate. All right, so I'm gonna slap on a battery really quick. All right, see that? Holds the weight just fine. Just fine. Now, this thing has been awesome. Super flexible. You know, most of my cameras either have like an L bracket or a cage with an Arca Swiss plate on it, so I can just slap any of them in this, whether I'm doing a time lapse or video work. However, I do have one complaint, and that is this little screw right here for tightening down around the Arca plate. My first night out shooting with this thing, and it did bite me in the ass a little bit. So it was about 4:30 in the morning. My time lapse was wrapping up. The sun was getting ready to come up. I was starting to pack up my gear, and I was taking the camera off of this, and I'm unscrewing and unscrewing and unscrewing. And then I hear something fall in the dirt. Yeah, it's not a very big screw, and it doesn't lock in securely. So that is my only real complaint of this accessory. Otherwise, it's awesome. It's really awesome. I think it's very flexible. I'm getting a lot of use out of it. But this little bugger here is going to piss me off probably every time I use it. With that said, if you can manage this screw and not lose it, this has been an amazing solution for mounting my V-mount batteries. I love my V-mount batteries. I get so much use out of them. In fact, I probably use them more than I actually use the native camera batteries, unless I'm just doing straight up stills photography. Otherwise, everything else that I'm doing, I probably have a V-mount hooked up. These things are amazing. Now, if you appreciate the content of this video, you don't have to subscribe. You don't have to smash that like button. You don't have to click the notification bell. What you can do to show your appreciation is donate to your local animal shelter. I will appreciate that a lot more. Well, that's all I have for this video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time.